the Rangers journal line.
You guys will be wondering what you pay an extra 99p a month for this members video for when I can't even run a podcast properly. Take two. Bob, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, not too bad. Looking to actually start a discussion this time, Scotty. Looking forward to it. So yeah, not bad today. Not bad today.
Billy, how you doing?
I mean, I'm still awake, so let's go again.
All right, fair enough. Right, so we're here to talk about our centre back options, basically, lads. Our centre back options. First of all, Bob, did you think we got everything we needed from the transfer window in terms of Robin Proper and Casemiro?
I think I probably, and obviously took to deadline day to get Casemiro in, but I mean Proper, and again we'll obviously go on to touch on it, but I think Proper has looked all right. Again, maybe go into a bit more depth, but yeah, I think defensively we've probably covered the loss of Goldson. With Proper, we've got a bit more depth with Casemiro coming in. Again, curiosity of where he's going to play, because again, if it's a straight loan, is it a loan with obligation to buy or option to buy? So I don't think Feyenoord would have let him go without a guarantee that he was going to get some game time. So it'll just be interesting where he comes in, if he starts games or if he's going to be used more as a sub. But I think defensively we've done not too bad. I don't think it was the worst, or the area that needed the most change. I think we needed that more probably in the middle and in the forward areas of the park. But yeah, I think we've done all right. I mean, obviously it remains to be seen whether or not these guys are successes. But yeah, I think so far, as of the summer window, defensively we've probably been all right to a point.
Willie, where are you sitting with defence just now?
It's so hard to know because we've not seen the new signing. I think Proper's done okay. I think it's hard to look any further than that. Sterling obviously offers his versatility. He can obviously play centre back, full back on both sides. I think until we see the new guy in action, we're not really going to know. I think that's the honest truth of the matter. And it's probably also given us a small insight into next season where, we might have moved on Ben Davies by then, we might have moved on James Tavernier by then, and we'll kind of get more of an idea as to how the team's going to set up and who's going to play where. And it could be that in January we add another player because we just, we don't know where we're going to be come that window. But it's interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing the new player in action. I would expect him to get some type of minutes against Dundee United, but I think, as Rob said, it'll be interesting to see if we use him as a full back or as a centre back, because until we actually see him in action, we're not really going to know.
I know. What you hoping the new centre half's going to be, Billy? Because I'm kind of hoping he's going to be dominant. He's going to be a standout performer. I'm kind of pinning all my hopes on that because I'm quite worried about combinations at centre back just now. Seeing you look at Suter getting caught with a ball under his feet again at Parkhead and just different things going on. I think we need somebody that's really going to come in and step up and take control of that defence.
Yeah, look, I think we were fortunate with Connor, who did a great job for, what was that, 4 or 5 years. Connor really did lead the centre backs in the main. So it's just like something new for us. I think we were pretty clear pretty early on that Ben Davies wasn't going to be that guy, and he never turned out to be. John Suter, as you say, he just seems to have these mistakes in him, John, and until he just cuts that out, there's always going to be that fear factor. Proper, yet again, we've only seen him, 3 times, something like that, since he signed. Obviously, we've not seen the other new signing at all. Sterling's had to drop into centre half, so we've probably not really had a proper centre half pairing so far this season because Balogun's been injured as well. So, but yeah, we definitely need somebody that's going to play every week, somebody that's going to bring that level of consistency, some leadership, and probably somebody that's a bit of a rock that's pretty solid, that you can look at that back line every week and think, he's a 7 or an 8 out of 10. That's the kind of centre half we need now, because obviously with Connor leaving, he was the one guy that basically played every single week. All the other centre halves kind of rotated at times, whether they were injured, they were out of form, etc. Whereas now we don't have Connor, so I think until we see what the manager's kind of got in his mind, we're not really going to know that until he puts out everybody and everybody's ready to go. But certainly the new guy, I mean, like seeing him up at the training ground, he looked a reasonably big lad. You would imagine he's a good athlete. Obviously, the fact he's come through the system in Holland, you would imagine he's probably technically pretty good as well. But yet again, until you play in Scottish football, we never really know what we're going to get until they're out in the pitch.
Aye, I know, mate. I know. Bob, William brings up a good point in terms of Connor Goldson and that centre-half partnership. He never had a long-standing centre-half partner next to him at Rangers. He was always not training somebody, but he was always had to tend to speak his partner through a game. He had that one spell during the 55 season, which was with Hollander, which worked really, really well. But apart from that, you could probably count centre-half partners in two hands with Connor Goldson.
Yeah.
He's had it all for youth to older guys next to him, to guys like Joe Worrells and all these types of people that have come in. Where do we start with laying some foundations for centre-back this season? And is John Souttar the answer to building?
I'd probably have said you're looking at Robin Proper as being your main centre-back. I think, understanding the slight injury against the St Johnstone in I think it was the cup game at Hampden, but I'm guessing he's come in. I mean, the fact that he was the captain at 20 kind of tells you he must be a consistent performer in his position to be given the captaincy. And again, he's hopefully going to show the leadership there that William kind of touched on, that he's hopefully the guy that we build the centre-back pairing around. As much as I think John Souttar's a decent enough defender, and he has probably come off the back of a decent season in terms of games, maybe not great games, but he's played. Last season he played the majority of our games, which again was good considering how injury prone he was when he first came in, and obviously prior to that when he was at Hearts. So, to me, as you said, Scottish, John Souttar's maybe got the odd mistake in him, and you're maybe just looking at Robin Proper being that wee bit more of an experienced centre half, if you want to put it that way, to be that, Connor Goldson 2.0, less mistakes, more defensively minded, but still relatively technical. So to me, I'm not sure John Souttar would be the one I would put in with another. I would probably be looking at Proper as the guy that Clement's going to be playing every week if he's fit.
It's weird, isn't it? It's weird, the whole kind of... I don't think I've ever seen a centre-back department like this at Rangers just now. You've got Proper, who is barely injured, and then since he's come in, he's been off the park injured twice. I'm trying to determine just now whether he is actually a left-sided centre-half, whether he's left-footed. Now, to me, it's a blade of grass. They should be able to play on both sides, but I think he's right-sided, playing on the left-hand side. I could be wrong, though. William, do you think we're going to be over-relying on Leon Balogun again this season?
Yeah, and I don't think we really should be doing that. I mean, at the end of the day, when you look at Leon, he's somebody that can come in and offer us a bit of experience. He's still got that kind of burst of pace that gets him out of trouble at times. He's obviously played at a good level for most of his career, so I don't think that's a problem, but I don't think you want him to be playing every single week. I would like to see what the manager thinks is going to be the team in terms of the back four for the next 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 weeks, because we need a bit of continuity in that position. It's been a real problem. If you've been really impressed with the new signing in action and training, let's put him in there. Or, if he thinks that Sterling's the best option at centre-half, then put him in there next to Proper. Because I think we have to now have a settled team, and let's get a run of games. I know we're going to rotate a little bit, right? That's just going to happen, especially with the European games. But I would like to see, like, the manager come out and saying, this is my first choice back four. If everybody's fit, then that's who's starting the games. And then you can move forward and you can start to maybe get an idea as to what we're going to do But at the moment, like without repeating myself again, we don't really know, and there's obviously been a big outcry recently about James Tavernier maybe not starting. So do we start the new guy at right back? Does Sterling get it right back? So it's really, really difficult. I think until we watch the next 5-10 games, then maybe we'll get a more clear idea as to what we're going to see for the remainder of the season. Because obviously adding guys in transfer deadline day is never ideal, because there was very little chance of those players then, like playing at Parkhead, for instance. So we're not really going to get an idea as to what this team's like, excuse me, until the Dundee United game or the games after that, like Dundee in the Cup or Malmo away in Europe, etc. So hopefully we will find out. But at the moment, I'm just guessing, to be perfectly honest, because that's where we are.
Aye, I know, mate. I know, 100%. 100%. I think I don't know. Casemiro's been brought in. It looks as if we've got an option to buy as well. Them kind of deals are fairly normal in football now, I would say, in the day's market. It's almost like a try before you buy. You take a player for a club, the player's going to benefit either way because he's going to be coming back a better player, or and Rangers get the option to say whether it's a yes or a no. I hope this was a target we had our eye on for a good bit of the summer. Obviously, with the boy Jose Cordoba that ended up signing for Norwich. That's not Rangers' fault. I'm not slagging them off for that. But they took their time to get the players they did in. And whether the business is good or not, it remains to be seen. Bob, who do you start away to Dundee United on Sunday at centre back if everybody's fit?
If everybody's fit, I'd be putting, again, my first thought was Suter and Proper. I think if they're fit, they're the most consistent pairing at the moment because I've played the most games. Now, I take on board Willie's point of if the new boy Casemiro's shown up well in training, he's now had a week or so he's in the building. If he comes up well, he's obviously, if he's fit, he's obviously had a pre-season at Feyenoord. If he's fit, I would, I think that's a difficulty. You've got that in your mind of going, well, we know it's the better the devil you know what Suter's going to be like, even if there is a mistake in him. Proper probably needs the game time as well, just to get, as I say, settled more settled in the team, because he's only played 2 or 3 games kind of on and off with injury. If he's not 100%, the question is whether do you want to put Suter in with Sterling? To me, no, I would rather play the new boy.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I've not really answered the question, Scott. I mean, my first thought was Suter and Proper. If they're both fit, that would be my first choice pairing at the moment.
I've just found out on the transfer market that Proper is a right-sided centre back, so he's right-footed. Yeah. So, well, I'll come to you on it. Obviously, you watch a lot of the youth games. Is that important in a day's game for a balance of a defence, that it's got to be right-footed and left-footed, or do you think with Proper's experience they might be able to kind of shuffle about?
Look, it's difficult. I think for a long time, most teams probably had 2 right-footers. That was just like the norm in football. I do think it's nice to have the balance. I think when you saw like Helander and Goldson, it certainly seemed to be more comfortable, right? Because maybe they were both on their natural sides at times. But I think, like, realistically, and as you're saying, it shouldn't really matter. I mean, the only difference is that maybe you want to control the ball with your left foot instead of your right foot. I mean, that's really the only difference. In terms of being a centre-back, like, your positional sense shouldn't really change that much in terms of where you've got to be. I do agree with Rob. I think we will see Suter and Proper. I think that's the 2 he'll start with. I think fans will have to accept that maybe under Clement, he might make those changes in the Dundee game in the Cup. Like, that might be your first sighting of the new signing. Same with even like the Albanian, like your new number 10. Like, do you throw him straight into the team? Because well, I guess in some ways it's easier to put a 10 into the team because he's maybe not needing to be involved as much as what a new centre half would need to be in there. Because let's be honest about it, they're going to test out a new centre half if he's in there. They're going to start pummeling balls into the box. You know, they'll see if he's strong in there. They'll see if he's committed in the tackle. You know, they'll see how well he reads all the movement of the players in front of him, etc. Whereas I think maybe being a 10, that might be the easier position to slot somebody in there. So I think there's a higher chance we'll see, you know, the Albanian than we will obviously the new lad that's coming from Holland that I can't really pronounce his name properly. So
Call me big man.
I think that's probably where we'll go. But it's so interesting. You know, it's Dundee United have had a pretty good start to the season. And it's one of those places that at the moment, amongst some of the supporters, there's probably a bit of, we really need to go here and win. But I don't know if the confidence level is where it should be. Because we're still talking about a team that's basically not been in the league that long after coming back up for the championship. But I think because of how inconsistent we've been to start off this season, plus the addition of a couple of new signings coming in that we've not actually seen play yet, there's going to be that little bit of nervousness going into the game, which is understandable. But I would like to think we've got more than enough about us to go there and win the game. But yeah, again, like the manager's kind of shown before that he can sometimes do things that you're not expecting. I would like to see him go with his strongest possible 11 because I think it's just so important that we have a settled team. But obviously, as John Suter, your number one partnership with Proper, yeah, again, until we see the new signing, we're not really going to know that. But, I mean, as Rob says, I don't think we've brought him in here to sit in the bench most weeks. So I would imagine this guy's going to be looking to play pretty quickly.
I'm hoping this Casemiro is going to be a mix between Marvin Andrews and Boomsong because I think that's what's badly needed, if I'm being honest with you. I think it's badly needed.
Yeah, look, I mean, see Marvin Andrews. I remember when Rangers signed Marvin Andrews, the amount of people that like, I obviously sat next to in the stadium were like, why are we signing a guy that can only head in a ball? Because that's mainly what Marvin was signed for, wasn't it? Because at that time, Celtic were very direct. Everything came into the box really early on. So Marvin just stood there and headed the ball, well, sometimes ridiculous distances, like 40, 50 yards up the pitch, which at the end of the day, we needed that type of player. So, yeah, look, I think sometimes you need a certain type of character to come into a team and do a job. Right now, we really need somebody that's going to come in and be a settled partner for Proper, because I think, as you have already both said, I think Proper is going to play every week if he's fit. So it's just a matter of picking that guy next to him and then obviously solidifying that position by making sure this guy plays next to him most weeks.
Aye, I'd agree with that, mate. Well, one John Suter Curry's come in with a question asking, is the pressure affecting him? I can't remember making him as many errors at Hearts and for Scotland.
For me personally, I think I fully take on board Curry's point. I think there's maybe a different kind of pressure. I know we've all talked about it before different podcasts in the group chat that, you know, the pressure for playing for Rangers is a different kind of pressure to playing for any other SPFL team and even your international team. He's probably not got as much pressure on him at Hearts, even being the Hearts captain at points, you know, to deal with every single attack in a positive way. And it's any fault that he has is highlighted tenfold when he's playing for one of the Old Firm. Obviously, in this case, he's playing for Rangers. It's every single thing he does is micro-analysed. Probably by us in the fan media, by social media, by Scottish media. It's they're under such a massive microscope to be 100% every single game, and I think maybe again kind of as what Willie touched on. You've maybe this big. I'm going to call him Big Casa rather than Big Guy. But like Casemiro's the guy to come in and rotate, and he'll have a rotation. A better rotation with a bit more quality, because I think even from what I've watched and what I've read and listened to, he's predominantly a centre back. I think when Feyenoord brought him, he was a centre back in the previous club before he went to Feyenoord. Arne Slot tried to kind of mould him into a right back. So again, he's maybe not in the same mould as a Dujon Sterling, but to me, if his natural game is being a centre back, he should be playing that position it's the same with Proper. And again, probably just agree with what you touched on. He's there. Proper's a right-footed centre back, but he can play left side, which obviously is why he's playing. The difficult thing that we have is we don't have a proper left, pardon the pun, a proper left-footed centre back to come in and play. Because to me, you're looking at going, well, if you had everybody fit, Proper would probably be playing right side of the defence, and you'd have a left-footed centre back playing the left side of the defence. Now, for all his faults, Ben Davies is a left-footed centre back, which we've obviously put on loan to Birmingham, and I know that's not what we're here to talk about. But again, we've not. That's maybe the only thing, touching what you said at the start. We've maybe not brought a bit that balance into the squad, having moved a player out of the squad that was a left-footed centre half. So you're potentially looking at other teams trying to exploit that. Well, if he's not really comfortable on his left side, if he's not naturally a left-footed player, you're going to go and try and go down that side to see how much joy you can get out of it. So to me, obviously going back to the question that Suter needs to come out again. You're maybe just trying to again manage his time. It's the same with what Clement said about the captain, about he's not going to play every single game. So again, away to Dundee United, I suspect the captain will start. I know that's not what the podcast's about, but again, as Willie said, we've got to, now that we've got the Old Firm game out the way, we need to settle into a pattern of the back five has to start picking itself. We can't keep chopping and changing. If the best 11 is Suited and Proper as your centre back pairing, and that's who plays unless they're injured or they get suspended for bookings. So, and obviously we're not talking about the fullbacks, so we're not worried about that for the moment. But for me, if those two are the two guys that come on wants to build the spine of the team through, they need to play. They need to play the game, or the majority of every game, to get that consistency and build up a relationship so that they become as strong as they can be together.
Aye. Curry's given me another point. Is Clement brave enough to play both new signings at the same time, or even start them together? Maybe in a cup, but I wouldn't say he's going to start them together at Tannadice on Sunday. I'm just looking at Casemiro on Transfer Market here, and it's telling me the guy's won a fair bit. He's won two Eredivisie titles. He's won the Dutch Super Cup, a European Under-17 champion, and he's a Dutch Under-19 champion. So he's got a fair whack of trophies to his CV. But Transfer Market's got him listed as a right back. So whatever that means for our captain, I don't know. But Casemiro is very much a wait and see whether he's going to be starting or not. So I suppose we'll kind of look towards wrapping up there, lads. Wally, who would you be going with on Sunday if everybody's fit?
Well, I think the goalkeeper picks himself, doesn't he, basically? I think for all the noise, we'll still see James Tavernier start at right back.
Right.
I do think it will be Suited and Proper. I just think the manager going into this game will look at the back line and think, okay, these guys have played together a wee bit, so I'll stick with them. The left back kind of picks itself at the moment as well, because I don't know where Ridvan is in terms of his returns, so clearly, there's not really a lot of option there. Barron and Diamande. I would really like to see him start, the Albanian. I watched a little bit of the game during the week there, and he certainly looks like a good player in terms of when he's on the ball. Obviously, we'll need to see that work rate from him, which is another thing that obviously there's an expectation. The wide positions, yet again, I don't think that's a given. Cortez is obviously close to being back now, it looks like, so he might end up starting. But yet again, he's not played a lot of minutes. Cherney obviously played a part in both games for the Czech Republic, so I would imagine he probably plays for us. And then up front, again, I still don't think we've seen enough of Danilo, so I would imagine Big Dessler starts. But there is one or two positions in that team that we could probably sit and have a 20-minute argument about in terms of who should start, but that's where we are at the moment. We seem to be kind of, I don't know, it's hard to actually know where we are. I don't think I remember a Rangers team that's maybe kind of so it's so hard to actually pick an 11. For years, you could sit and go, yeah, that's probably our best 11 at the moment. I don't know if any of us can say that.
Aye, 100%, mate, 100%. I would probably be going with Butland, Tavernier, Balogun and Proper, with maybe Balogun on the left-hand side, with Robbie Fraser at left back, and then it would be Dio and Barron with Bedrami ahead of him, Jeff Day on the left, Cherney on the right, and Dessers up front. I think it's going to need to be something like that due to we're kind of limited options at left mid. Cortez, I don't know what it is. When Cortez signed, he was brought in and he started every match, played every minute, every match, and then he picked up that bad hamstring injury. Done the same this season. So I don't know if Cortez maybe needs spoon-fed for a couple of weeks just to kind of try and let him find his feet a bit so that something doesn't ping somewhere. That's all we can kind of hope for, because if you can get that boy fitting on fire, he's got capabilities to turn your season room.
See, I think the problem you've got with that though is, mate, like another defeat at Tannadice or a defeat in the Cup to Dundee, when you've not got your best team out, then there's more questions than answers again. So, that's the difficulty with it. It's like, you see, if I'm the manager right now, I'm probably wanting to put out my strongest possible team. But then he's just got to consider everything else. We do have a lot of European games coming up. We've obviously got League Cup games coming up. And let's be honest, but so far this season, we've pretty much picked up an injury every game. So, you don't know what the team's going to be available for next week yet. And this is the worrying thing for me. I just don't see a level of consistency yet. And that for me is a bit of a concern even this early in the season.
Do you think we're going to see a wee bit more of Igaman on Sunday, William?
Well, I think the fact the manager brought him on at Parkhead before Danilo probably suggests that, you could see him. I mean, the manager could shock everybody and start him. Mm-hmm. Because the one thing Dundee United will not really know anything about is him.
Aye.
Because nobody's really seen him. Because nobody really knows who he is. And unless you've been watching, where he's been the last few years, which I would imagine very few people have actually seen that. At least with the other two guys, you could probably look at videos and maybe get an idea as to what they're going to bring if they do start. With Imani, you don't really know that, because we don't really know what his strengths are. We don't know what his weaknesses are. We don't know what qualities he's going to bring as a lone striker. These are just all unanswered questions. And in some ways it's exciting, and in other ways it's frightening, because we don't. But then we had that same thing with Morelos, didn't we? We signed Morelos as a backup, and then he ended up becoming the star man for us. So, I mean, this kid could be the same. And at the end of the day, we did spend a decent amount of money on him. So it's not like he came in as a free transfer and we took a punt on him. We spent the best part of £2 million on him.
Aye. Let's hope. I think that's all we're doing just now. Hey, Bob, where you at, mate? Or mute.
Yellow card for me there. I am probably say the same as Willie. I think the team that started at Parkhead, if fit, will probably start the game at Dundee United. I think we've got to start getting some consistency. We've got to go on a run of games now in the league and in the cup that allow us to build up a bit of confidence, a bit ahead of steam before we next meet the other side of the city, whether that's in the League Cup or in the league. Again, the rotation. Just touching on what you've said before about Balogun. Again, we said that last year, that he's a good defender, but you don't want to rely on him as your main centre back pairing within your main centre back pairing, which again is a worry, considering we're now looking at it going, well, you can hang your hat on him to play, but you don't want him playing 3 games in a week or 2 games in a week, because he can't do the load. Again, comes back to what Clement had said, actually, probably when he came in, about bringing the team up to be one of the these 4 pillars of being one of the best fitness team, one of the best teams fitness wise and physically, and you're kind of going, well, you've got to start being able to rotate the players and make sure you're not overloading them, because I think again that's part of the reason why Danilo's obviously had the build up in his knee, which is probably part of the reason why he never came on at Parkhead, because I'm assuming there was some flare up from the Ross County game. with the St Johnstone game when he played, and same as Suter, he's injury prone. If I know that some of these guys like Proper, Casemiro don't look to have had a massive injury record prior to coming to the club, but you don't want to then have them start picking up all these wee niggles that leave them out for 3, 4, 5 weeks at a time. So for me, I think the team that started at Parkhead will probably be the team that starts at Dundee United. I would like to see Bayrami come in and play. Again, this whole thing with Clemonta, if he's not had a 5 days training with the team, he'll might be on the bench. But if he's played 2 games in the space of a week, he's obviously fit enough to play for his country. Just put him in and take him off after an hour. Just go and win the game. Go and win the game and see it out. And same with what Willie's saying about Eagleman. If he's good enough to come on and play 10 minutes against Celtic, surely he's good enough to come on and play half an hour, 45 minutes against Dundee United away from home. Again, element of surprise could very well be in our favour. So, but from a centre back point of view, I think it'll probably be Suter and Proper if they're both fit.
I probably need to agree with that. Knowing the manager and how he works. Well, I don't know the manager and I don't really know how he works, but guessing on complete guesswork, I would probably say these are both right on the Suter and Proper thing. I think John Suter's better in a team that's getting crosses flung into the box 24/7. I think that's when John Suter looks like the player he really is. I think he's a good box defender, but I don't think he's made to be building attacks. That's just my opinion. I would be going with Balogun and Proper, or Balogun and a Proper and Casemiro or something like that. And Sunday, I don't think we can afford a John Suter mistake at Tannadice because I think it's a potential banana skin. But anyway, William, thanks for coming on, mate.
A pleasure, mate. Thanks for having me.
No problem at all. Bob, thanks again, pal.
Yeah, great wee chat. And looking forward to the weekend now.
Aye, it'll be good to get the Rangers back. So we'll be back. We'll be back tonight at 8:30 for the Q&A show. Ross is going to be holding it with Ryan and Gary. So jump on the pod link, leave a wee question for us to get the podcast started. But apart from that, thanks for tuning in. Cheers.